Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over to America once again, and we're going to visit the very pretty state of Colorado, and it's also very well known for its craft beer actually, and we're going to have a look at one of the kind of cult classics of that recent Colorado beer boom. And this is my second encounter with this brewery actually. So we're going to go to Oskar Blues Brewery and we're having a taste of the Dale's Pale Ale today, which was their very first beer. And as I say, very well renowned, rated at 99 on Rate Beer, so it should be a really quite interesting review. And the first beer I tried from Oskar Blues was actually a collaboration with Brewdog. It was called Shipwrecker Circus, a really nice barley wine, but my very first encounter with them, and that was a collaboration beer with my local brewery back in Aberdeen in Scotland, Brewdog, and it was really good. So I'm really interested to try this one for you today, and I've tried quite a few Colorado beers, especially since I've moved here to Sweden. They seem to be quite popular here and quite easy to get, and the standard of things there has been really high, so please do recommend me some more Colorado beers to have a look at. I'd really love to review more of these. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you do want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual websites are in the video description below. The brewery website, a link to my other Oskar Blues reviews that I'll add for you in the near future. The Shipwrecker Circus one is there of course, but all my social media stuff's down there too. The Facebook, the Twitter and the Untappd. Please follow me through any of those, and don't hesitate to get in touch if you want to chat. Always interesting to hear from you guys, and if you want to see more beer videos, please subscribe to the channel. But anyway, to tell you about Oskar Blues Brewery. So this company was founded as a restaurant by Dick Dale Catechis in Leons, Colorado back in 1997, and 2 years later they began brewing beer in the basement of the restaurant. But the brewery are credited by some as being the first craft brewery in America to can their craft beer, and this was with the release of this beer here, the Dale's Pale Ale, which is their flagship beer back in 2002. But by 2011 many other breweries were doing this, and in 2009 Oskar Blues Brewery actually founded the Burning Can event, which brought together all the different craft breweries who canned their beers, and now all of their beers are actually distributed in these kind of recyclable aluminium cans, and these guys are the largest craft brewery by volume in America who solely sell their beers in aluminium cans, and they're actually the second largest brewery in Colorado today, and that's behind, I believe, New Belgium Brewery. But in 2013 they opened a satellite brewery in Brevard, North Carolina, which can brew between 40,000 and 85,000 barrels of beer per year, and the original Oskar Blues Bar and Grill is still open in Leons, and it has 45 tap beers on the go at any one time. And currently they're actually planning a new site in Austin in Texas. They were actually hiring for that on the website when I looked, so you should see that. It said in April 2016. So if you find yourself in Austin in Texas and you like Colorado craft beer, then you can go and check out their new bar. As I say, the brewery website's in the video description below and you can check that out. But just to list a few of the other beers you can get from these guys, there's the Dale's Pale Ale, the Pinner, the IPA, Mama's Little Yellow Pills, which I've heard is really quite an awesome beer. There's the Old Chub, which is a Scotch ale. I'll need to try that at some point. There's the Goodnight, which is supposed to be some kind of double IPA Imperial Red beer, supposed to be really good as well. There's Deviant Dale's, Death by Coconut, Death by Gubna, and also 1050, which I believe is actually a seasonal beer. But the original brewery also provides a number of small batch beers that are sold on keg in the different bars. Of course, that's in Longmont in North Carolina and Leons in Colorado. And as I say, there's going to be a new site opening up in Austin in Texas fairly soon. So yeah, that's your brief bit about the brewery. As I say, if you want to read more, do check out the brewery description or the brewery website in the video description below. But we'll get on to the tasting of this beer now. So this one is a 6.5% American Pale Ale. It's hopped with Northern Brewer, Cascade, Columbus and Centennial hops, I believe all from America, and it said that it had quite an interesting malt base as well, but it didn't say on the website exactly what was in this one. But it says on the back here, imported to Sweden by great brands AB, Östergårdsgatan in Herrljunga. So yeah, and this particular one it says was brewed by Oskar Blues Brewery in North Carolina. So this one has actually come from their North Carolina brewery. That must be where they're, I think that's a bigger capacity brewery of course, so I think that's where they're actually brewing a lot of their export beers. But yeah, as you can see, the beer is quite nicely presented. I'll just tilt it up so the light doesn't reflect off it too badly. You can see a nice silver and blue, and as I say, this one is their flagship beer. You can see on the side, this is all the things on the, as you go around the can there. But yeah, very, very nice looking beer. So without further ado then, we'll get stuck into this one. You can see there's the Oskar Blues symbol there, just the nice OB, and it says on the side this is a mountain pale ale, a huge, voluminously hopped mother of a pale ale. So Should be pretty good. As I say, this is their flagship beer, so let's get it open and we'll get on with the tasting here. And it really does seem to be, I think Colorado, from what I gather, is one of the more liberal states in America. There's a lot of kind of, they call them liberal, but we would call them, in Europe, we would probably just call it kind of normality, if you like, kind of social democratic states, I guess you would describe it as. But there's a lot of things in Colorado, a lot of the breweries there have really quite good environmental policies, and I'm quite into that sort of thing, being a chemist originally and now a physicist, so always quite interesting to read these little things about the breweries, and Colorado seems to be one of the real places where they do care about the environment. So thumbs up to you guys brewing beer in Colorado. So as you can see, this beer is poured a really nice kind of, I would say it's maybe a kind of copper, slightly coppery amber colour. If I put it through the light, it is definitely sort of coppery amber colour. You can see the beer is actually very clear, really transparent, and there's a solid finger of a frothy white head there. There's quite a few little bubbles visible in this one, not so many big bubbles, but you can see them just going up towards the bottom of that head there, and it looks really, really quite nice actually. Very, very attractive looking beer. So let's give it a smell before we actually get stuck in and have a taste of this one. So yeah, it's quite interesting this. It's got a nice balance between the hops. It's just a light bit of sweet malt and some nice hops. It's not the most pungent of aroma, but it is a pale ale rather than an IPA. The IPAs and double IPAs are the ones that really have these quite in-your-face aromas. But there's a nice citrusy note in there, and that's taken a bit of a backseat, I would say. That's from the Centennial hop. And there's a good floral, sort of florally aromatic thing in there too. That's from the Columbus, but the most prominent note in the aroma, I think, from the fruity side of things, is the grapefruit, and of course that's the trademark. I'm sniffing up the beer, but that's the trademark of the Cascade hop there. But yeah, that's really nice actually. There's some kind of resinous character coming out of this beer too, and some sweet malts. There's a bit of caramel and biscuit, and maybe a bit of bread in there too. But yeah, smells really nice. As I always say with the beers, do give them a bit of a smell before you actually get stuck into them, because it can always give you a good idea of what you can actually expect from this beer. So without further ado then, let's get stuck into this beer. This one is the Dale's Pale Ale, the flagship beer of Oskar Blues Brewery based in Lyons in Colorado. This one was brewed in North Carolina. Skål. Now that is really quite nice actually. It's got a good balance between the malt and the hop there. The pale ale is a style I've started to drink more and more of quite recently, and I found it growing on me. Usually I like the more kind of in-your-face characteristics that you get with an IPA, but the pale ales that I've drunk recently have been really quite impressive, and I do like the slightly maltier and less pronounced hop character from these as well. I'm finding it's a style that's really growing on me. But yeah, that's really nice actually. There's a good solid malt backbone in there, some sweet caramel, maybe just a little bit of biscuit, but there's a good bit of just a pale malt character, and that just blankets the middle of your palate. Maybe a little bit of breadiness in there too, but there's a lot of nice malty character in here. I think it's actually quite strong in the ABV for a pale ale as well. I thought pale ales were usually about 5%, but this one is 6.5, so yeah, it's quite interesting in that regard, I have to admit. But yeah, really nice flavours coming out of this beer. The hops just blend together really well. The hops have a nice wet and quite juicy mouthfeel in this one, and they just blend together with that, with the quite rich malt base you have in this beer. Yeah. At the back, towards the back of the palate, there's a nice, slightly, just a very slightly dry floral aromatic character, but it smooths out as you move along the sides of the palate. The very back of the corner palates, that's also smooth as well. It's more in the middle that I'm getting a bit of the kind of floral aromatic dry character in there. That's the kind of trademark of the Centennial. All of these hops that are in here have a nice floral aromatic character to them, and you can just pick that coming out. As you go around the front of the tongue though, it smooths out again, but you can get just a little bit of a floral aromatic dryness in this beer. Really quite nice. But yeah, Really nice beer this, I have to admit. I'm quite enjoying this, so I definitely would need to get a few more of these in the future. I saw it in Sisty and Beloga quite a few times, but just didn't buy it because I kept seeing it. I thought, oh, I can get it any time. I was wanting to buy more kind of lesser known beers, but this is really good actually. I have to admit, I really enjoy this, and I can see it fully deserves its 99 rating that it has on Rate Beer. And obviously in Sweden, when it's Sisty and Beloga and they've got a limited range, they're going to buy in the very good craft beers from America, and this one's no exception to that. But yeah, if you go just behind the very front curve of your tongue, you'll feel this oily bubble where these fruity flavours come out of the beer, and there's a really nice, how do you say, it's quite citrusy, but there's a little bit of grapefruit on top of that, but I think it leans more towards the citrus side of things than the grapefruit, and of course that's the opposite of the aroma as I described for you before. But yeah, really nice beer this actually, I have to admit. I keep saying it in the video, but it really has impressed me a lot, this one, so I wouldn't hesitate to buy it again. As I say, nice slightly bready malt base, good bit of caramel and biscuit that just builds on top of that. Really quite rich in the caramel, I think. Some floral aromatic character around the sides of the palate. Smooths out as you go forward, but then a bit more floral aromaticity around the front curve of the tongue. And there's a nice oily, juicy fruit character that comes out of as well. Quite citrusy, I think, and it works really well. All the flavours in this beer blend together very well. So if you haven't tried this one, I would recommend it, and I can see from my experience of trying beers, this one really does deserve its rating of 99. Very good beer, and I wouldn't hesitate to drink it again. Yeah, so with this one, I would say probably mid-body is a good way to describe this. It does feel like it has a good bit of body to it. That's the big caramel flavours, and it does feel as if it has a little bit of alcohol warmth, just a little bit though. It's only 6.5%, but to me the malt base on this one is quite rich, and I do think it contains a little bit of booziness. The carbonation in it is quite smooth, and that suits the oily mouthfeel. There's a good bit of hoppy bitterness, but it's not too pronounced. As I say, the sides of the palate and a little bit to the front. There's a bit of juicy fruity character, mainly a citrus kind of citrus element to it, a little bit of tropical fruit too, but the tropical is very subdued, and there's a good sweet malty character from this one. So yeah, I mean, it's one of the cult classics of the Colorado beer market, and I can see why. I mean, I should have tried this beer a lot earlier than I have, if I'm honest. It's a really enjoyable one, and for me, this is a nice sessional beer. You know, if this was on tap in one of my local places, I wouldn't hesitate to drink this beer and have it as a kind of go-to beer. It really is that good actually, and it fully deserves its high rating. So yeah, I mean, if you haven't tried Dale's Pale Ale, it's a good introduction to the Colorado craft beer boom. There's a lot of good breweries over there. Ska Brewing Company, New Belgium, all of these sorts of things, but Oskar Blues Brewery have a good connection with Brewdog in Europe, so it's probably easier for you to find a lot of their beers. Really good, and as I say, they all deserve their high ratings as far as I've heard. The Mama's Yellow Pills and the Old Chub are supposed to be really good, so hopefully I can get a hold of those and try some more for you. But yeah, as always, if you've tried this beer before, let me know your own thoughts on it. Always interesting to hear from you guys that are watching the videos. To those of you in Colorado, please recommend some other Colorado beers for me to have a look at. Always interesting to try new beers, especially when they're from good places for beer like Colorado. But yeah, let me know your own thoughts on this beer. I hope you've enjoyed this beer review. Until the next one, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff, and all my social media things too. If you could support me there, that would be really helpful. But I thank you for watching my beer reviews. There will be more from Colorado in the near future. I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you soon with my next beer review. Go and check out Dale's Pale Ale from Oskar Blues in Colorado. Skål!